Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 1 of the Danx0r's series. Special shout out to Travis Gafford from Travis Gafford Industries. I want to get on Hotline League and discuss this topic. I unfortunately was not picked by Mark, and so I am now starting my series and holding on to my promise that I did at the World Finals live on the show that I will be a part of the LCS content starting in 2023. So let's get started a little early before 2023 rolls around, right? So, we're going to be discussing the lunch break championship series. Shout out to C9_StarKiller for that term. And, I really do appreciate the fact that Travis seems to be the only person who seemingly gives a fuck right now in regards to this topic and is really passionate about this. I really enjoyed seeing his I won't say rant, but venting before the show started. And I didn't listen to the questions, so to be able to have my own original thoughts. And something he mentions about is trying to be diplomatic right now and internally, and the casters, everyone else. And this is like a do or die moment for the league, right? I obviously, in case you can't tell, again, I've been on multiple shows in the past, called in numerous times for Hotline League. I'm an NA fan, as you can see from the 100 Thieves shirt. I was there at the Houston Finals, World Finals this year, Spring Finals 2018 in Miami, MSI 2015 was our first league event. And I've been watching since the very beginning, right? I've been playing League since a week after the beta started or ended, excuse me. So, I've been here for a very long time. Grew up with League essentially as a teenager. Now, about to turn 28 really soon. And it's just, I can't really think of a moment where League was not part of my life. And so, my question is like, why should I tune in if the broadcast is not meant for my region? And, I think how Travis worded it was pretty spot on. He said, if this is your new home, you need to make it pretty sturdy because you cannot get back to how things were before. And I completely agree. Going through with this change is a huge slap in the face to a lot of North American fans, and, going back to Riot's values, where one of their values is player experience first. We believe our laser focus on players inspires the most meaningful and lasting game experiences. Now, I know this is a broadcast, so it's a little bit different versus like a game experience. But, if they truly cared about North American fans and experience for North American fans, think about the studio, right? They have these 18-foot new 18-foot stage, a high stage of 1,000 LED tiles pushing the space to the absolute limit is what the article stated. And who the hell is going to be there to watch it, right, in person? I mean, even in regular season games, like you hear some crowd here and there, especially for a hyped match. Who the fuck is going to be there? The only people who are going to be there on a Wednesday and Friday at 12, starting at 12 o'clock PST, are people who have weird work schedules. So the average person will not be there. 2, you're unemployed. Or 3, you are potentially having to take PTO, right? Or you're a writer who already works there, right? And, I love the LCS. I don't really necessarily think it's, something to go take PTO over instead of, going to a finals event, right? So, and I've already heard, speaking to some other members inside Discord, who were already saying that they're planning to use their PTO despite them not wanting to support the league because they don't want it to see it die, and I think that's just absolutely ridiculous to having to use PTO to go watch the matches, right? Because of the timing that it is, where the average person's work schedule doesn't fit in there. And so we're going to go to the next value. Stay hungry, stay humble. We value feedback as an essential part of improvement. So if that was really the case, why does the messaging of the article about the LCS change, does it really seem like the time will change? It says that they were open to feedback and open to, what the reaction's going to be, but it didn't really seem very inviting for the potential change, or being like, hey, we're going to try this out for 2-3 weeks, see how it goes. If we don't like it, we'll revert back. It's just like a pretty clear, cut and dry. We're doing this. You better hop on board and get excited with us. And it's just, I don't know. I think the tone, the messaging has just felt very, very off from Riot and the LCS in that regard. Then another value of theirs is executive with excellence. We believe operational excellence will unlock us to deliver better experiences for the long run. So, I have a question to you all who are listening. Do you personally feel like that the messaging behind the LCS changes and the time was well thought, was put out in a well thought manner and through excellence? Because the main criticism, even on the first initial article that came out 2 hours before the LCS changes, was the time, right? Everyone's, problem is the time of when it starts. And that's my main concern. And so if it was through excellence and in a well thought manner, why does the article not say anything about decision making or a rationale as to why we're starting at 12 o'clock PST? Like, there was months of preparation ahead of time before this announcement. It's not like it came out of nowhere. From Hotline League, it was shared that internally there has been lots of discussions about this, numerous months of owners and the LCS communicating amongst one another, knowing that it's going to be starting at 12 PSC. This, I can understand this is like a very rushed decision, but it wasn't. This is a very big decision, of course. And, it's very hard, again, to walk back from this. And so why was there no discussion or rationale as to why this decision was made? And, they definitely fit their motto, where we believe the courage to chase bold ideas will make impossible dreams come true for players. It's going to be impossible to watch the lunch break championship series if you're in the West Coast, or if you're in school, right? And I don't really think that they're doing themselves a service, especially with a younger crowd, for North American fans. I worked in the youth esports industry for a little bit and was a commissioner for my location. And, from the kids I spoke to, 50, 60 kids, spoke to them, their siblings, their parents. Not many of them knew about League of Legends. Honestly, they called it a boomer game. And, and I think there's some merit to that, but, it's not really a popular game that's, kids the age 7 to 15 are playing, right? And so them already alienating more kids with this timing of the broadcast, it just feels really odd to me for the longevity of the league and longevity of the game, specifically in North America when it comes to the pro play side or aspiring to become pros. So, they put out this messaging 48 hours before they go on a 2-week break. And look, I understand, I'm not asking for anyone to, ruin their Christmas break and, put out something, for us fans. But my expectation is for something to be shared once everyone is back. I personally think that it should have been, I don't even know who's the person who, is going to receive the backlash for this, right? I understand that from what was shared that Jackie has some health issues, but who is the face of this decision? If this doesn't go the way it's, they're predicting, who's on the chopping block? Like, who is a big advocate for this? There has to be some kind of figurehead or someone who's spearheading this. And so I feel like it's really missing from this announcement that I can't, like, as a fan, be backing up, this decision when I don't even know who is a person spearheading this. It's like if Papa Smithy was one, really backing this, and it's like, okay, like he has that credibility. I know kind of, at least from what's shown out to the public, I know what kind of person he is when it comes in regards to the league and his passion. And if he really believes in it, maybe I might too. It would take some convincing, but you know what I mean? It's just like, who is the person who's advocating for this? He had also shared in the show that the owners were very skeptical. They had to be convinced, and they believed that the execution of how they communicated this was going to be the most important thing. And he believed they dropped the ball. I believe they dropped the ball. A lot of other fans believe they dropped the ball, North American fans specifically. And, I personally am a big fan of the day changes. I don't really want to spend my entire weekend watching LCS, and this is also going to be a quick mention for something else that's a little bit frustrating as on the East Coast. Clash starts at 9 o'clock. I have to basically for Saturday, Sunday, I have to have no plans for the entire weekend, or can't go out with friends, can't do anything late night, because if I want to play Clash, that's all night, pretty much thing, right? Same thing with watching games. Like I don't necessarily want to watch games the entire weekend. So if I'm going to watch it during the weekdays, I think it's great. Unwind after work. That's what I was expecting going into this new year, that, I get home from work, I, would do whatever, get ready. I was like, okay, I get to watch LCS and wind down. But that's not going to be the case. I'm on the East Coast, so I'll get to catch like game 3 and game 4. But, you're in the West Coast, time you get to work, by the time you get home from work, it's broadcast is basically is going to be basically over. So, I just think it's just so ridiculous. I think here's some other quotes from the article too. And over the past decade, as the wider gaming ecosystem has grown around us, we noticed that the viewing habits and daily schedules of our fans evolved as well. Yeah, of course. We've gotten older. We started working. We don't have, obviously all day to watch, esports and content. And so that's great. And then another quote is, to reach the ambitious goals we set for the next 10 years of LCS, we need the space to redefine ourselves with legacy fans and earn resonance with new ones. Yeah, you redefined yourselves with legacy fans by telling us that, piss off, you can't watch online or in person live at the time, especially to the in-person part. I think that's just like the most ridiculous part that I don't think people are like, speaking about very often. To the people who live in the area, want to travel to the area to go watch, again, they have to take PTO. Like if they're working at average, the average schedule, a 9 to 5 or 8 to 4, whatever. You might be getting new fans abroad, right? But I think for the LCS, because I don't think any other region or any other circuit is a broadcast not intended for the audience that the circuit exists in. It would be really bizarre, for example, if like the LPL just decided to, and obviously they wouldn't do this, but the LPL decided to now go like match like, I don't know, like 6 p.m. EST, and I don't know what time that'll be over there, and I'm sure they have numerous time zones, but it would just be weird. Like, why are you advocating for a global viewership? Because us fans, we're not stupid. I really questioned, who is this for? What is the purpose behind this? It has to be more. There's some kind of data that shows that they're going to get more viewership, most likely from Europeans who are going to watch the LCS. But it's like, do you really factor in, the fact that you're just saying piss off to all the North American fans who, have been supporting this league, got merch as well, got jerseys in the closet, like, I just think it's so backwards for the North American fans as to how we're being treated in regards to this decision. And so, again, to reiterate, problems are middle of the workforce day for West Coast, East Coast still working for 2 hours, maybe give or take 3. People not watching live, not catering to a younger audience, and it's kind of like, what's next? What's going to happen in 2023 with the LCS? I was originally hyped. I got some 100 Thieves merch. It's pretty excited to see how 100 Thieves is going to do. I was also very curious to see how EG is going to do. EG, I also have some EG merch as well. They made me a fan after their Houston run, especially Jojo Pion. I thought he really leveled up in the World Championships and was excited to see how he's going to do. But I'm not really excited to watch the LCS in 2023. It's not catered to me. And it's not catered, and when I say me, I mean the North American fans. Why should I watch it? If the whole idea is to make it a global league, right? Despite the fact that none of the other circuits around the world have that same messaging behind it. What's next for the LCS? Flat out full Korean teams, full European teams. I think they already kind of botched the whole NA stuff by the grandfathering in of players many years ago. I understand when players really advocate to be in a region such as Core JJ and getting their green card to be able to stay here and live here. I think that's very respectable, and clearly they really want to be a part of this region. But the grandfathering already kind of messed up the balancing of North American players versus international players already. And so again, what's going to be next? Who's going to be responsible for this? These are all questions I would like to see answered, and curious to see what happens next. Appreciate you for listening to me. Hopefully for this first episode, it wasn't too scuffed. But yeah, drop me a comment for how you feel about this, and I'll see you guys for the next episode. Take care of yourselves. Bye.